The secret behind SpongeBob's most confusing episode finally solved. SpongeBob's SB-129 is the absolute weirdest, most brain-busting episode of the entire series. Let's look at this total fever dream and figure out what in the name of Neptune is going on. You know how SpongeBob episodes always kick off with pure, unfiltered chaos? SB-129 is no exception. Our favorite grumpy squid, Squidward Tentacles, is just trying to find a quiet corner to play his beloved clarinet. He's dreaming of smooth jazz vibes, but SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick Star are like a pair of hyperactive seagulls crashing his solo. No matter where he hides, his tiki house, jellyfish fields, the middle of nowhere, those two goofballs pop up giggling, jellyfishing, and driving him up the wall. In a moment of sheer desperation, Squidward makes a mad dash into the Krusty Krab's freezer to escape their relentless cheer. Big mistake. The door slams shut, locking him inside. And, brace yourself, he's stuck there for a jaw-dropping 2,000 years. Yep, 2 whole millennia, frozen like a squid-flavored popsicle in Mr. Krabs' kitchen. Now, here's where things get totally bonkers. Nobody notices Squidward's gone. Not SpongeBob, not Patrick, not even Mr. Krabs, who you'd think would at least grumble about losing his cashier. Life in Bikini Bottom just rolls on like nothing happened, with burgers flipping and jellyfish buzzing. Fast forward to the year 4017, and the freezer finally creaks open, spitting out a very confused, very cranky Squidward. He stumbles into a Bikini Bottom that's straight out of a sci-fi blockbuster. Everything's dripping in shiny chrome, like someone polished the whole town with a futuristic shine. The biggest shock though? The residents. Instead of his squishy, annoying neighbor SpongeBob, Squidward meets Spongetron, a robotic clone of his old pal, rocking the same goofy grin and boundless energy. And it's not just one Spongetron. There are hundreds of them, all identical, bouncing around like a swarm of hyperactive yellow nightmares. For Squidward, who can barely stomach one SpongeBob, this is his personal version of eternal torment. A whole town overrun with SpongeBob clones? It's like his worst nightmare got a sequel. Freaking out big time, he demands a way back to his own time. Stat. Lucky for him, or maybe not, the future Krusty Krab has a time machine stashed in a closet. Because, you know, why wouldn't a burger joint have one of those? Without skipping a beat, Squidward dives in, cranks the dial to past, and hits the gas. But in classic Squidward fashion, he totally botches it, overshooting his mark and landing in prehistoric Bikini Bottom. We're talking caveman days, with everything raw, rocky, and straight up primal. Think Flintstones, but with fish. Here he runs into caveman versions of his arch nemesis, SpongeGar and Paytar, the grunting, goofy ancestors of SpongeBob and Patrick. These guys are wild, chasing jellyfish, getting stung like it's a sport, and just being their chaotic prehistoric selves. In a moment of pure, what is this show weirdness, Squidward, the guy who despises jellyfishing with every fiber of his being, catches a jellyfish himself. Yep, you heard that right. He accidentally invents the sport that SpongeBob and Patrick are downright obsessed with. How's that for a cosmic kick in the pants? The dude who can't stand their favorite pastime might have kicked off the whole craze millions of years ago. But the good times don't last. When Squidward tries to serenade the cavemen with his clarinet, they're not having it. The screechy notes send SpongeGar and Paytar into a rage, and they chase him like he's a walking calamari platter. Panicked, Squidward scrambles back to the time machine, but in his frenzy, he smashes the lever. Uh-oh, the machine glitches out, the screen goes all staticky, and bam, he's zapped into a place called Nowhere, or the Void. This is where SB-129 goes full-on Twilight Zone mode, leaving you questioning reality itself. The Void is a blank, white expanse with no plants, no animals, no water, nothing but eerie, colorful shapes floating around like glitching holograms. At first, Squidward's over the moon. Finally, peace and quiet for my clarinet, he thinks, probably imagining a solo concert for the ages. But nope, the Void has other plans. His voice starts echoing back all distorted and creepy, repeating alone over and over like a broken record from the depths of despair. Those floating shapes, they flicker and warp almost like fragments of broken memories or lost pieces of Bikini Bottom's timeline. The longer he stays, the more it messes with his head, pushing him to the edge of a full-blown clarinet-throwing meltdown. Desperate to escape this nightmare, Squidward begs the busted time machine to work. He stomps, he yells, he completely loses it, and somehow it listens. The machine sparks back to life and zaps him back to present-day Bikini Bottom. He's so relieved to be home that he's actually happy to see SpongeBob and Patrick. Yeah, you read that right. Happy. That's a first for our grumpy squid. But then comes the wildest moment of all. As they head off to Jellyfish, they casually drop, "Come on, Squidward, you invented it after all."
Does this mean you want to go jellyfishing?
No! Oh, who's the barnacle head who invented that game anyway?
You are, Squidward.
Wait, hold the phone. How do they know that? Did word of this prehistoric jellyfishing stunt somehow travel through millions of years? Is this a time loop? Are SpongeBob and Patrick descendants of Spongegar and Petar? Carrying some ancient memory in their DNA? Or is something even crazier at play? This moment flips SB-129 from a quirky time travel romp into a mind-bending puzzle that's more Black Mirror than Back to the Future. To crack this mystery, let's play detective and dig into the SpongeBob universe for some answers. One big question keeps bubbling up. Did Squidward's time-hopping shenanigans create two versions of him? He gets frozen for 2,000 years, travels through time, and makes it home. But we never see that frozen Squidward thaw out in the present. Is he still stuck in the Krusty Krab's freezer? Unless the timeline has some magical autocorrect feature that erases duplicates, there could be a second Squidward out there, stuck in an icy limbo forever. This isn't as wild as it sounds when you consider how SpongeBob loves to play with out there concepts. The show's creator, Steven Hillenburg, and his writing team weren't afraid to get weird, even if full-on time travel didn't pop up again until Season 7's Back to the Past. Let's talk about that episode for a sec, because it's a goldmine for clues. In Back to the Past, Season 7 aired 2010, SpongeBob and Patrick mess with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy's time machine, zipping back to their heroes' glory days. Here's the juicy bit. Patrick eats the tartar sauce that Mermaid Man used to capture Man Ray in the original timeline, set up way back in Season 1's lore. That one snack rewrites history. Man Ray takes over, turning Bikini Bottom into a dystopian nightmare where he's basically king of the seas. It's crystal clear proof that the SpongeBob universe allows timeline tweaks and multiple versions of reality. Characters can mess with the past, and the present shifts to match, no questions asked. So applying that logic to SB-129, could a frozen Squidward still be out there, trapped in the freezer? At the episode's end, SpongeBob and Patrick kinda sidestepped the whole freezer issue. Like they sense something's fishy but don't want to poke the timeline with a 10-foot pole. Acknowledging it might unravel their happy-go-lucky reality, trapping Squidward in some eternal loop. And let's not forget, he's already changed history by inventing jellyfishing. His actions are coming back to haunt him like a bad clarinet solo that just won't quit. This ties into a massive theme in SB-129. You can't escape the things you hate, no matter how hard you try. Squidward spends the whole episode running from SpongeBob and Patrick, dodging their annoying antics like they're a swarm of jellyfish. But the universe keeps throwing them back in his face. First as cavemen, then as clones, and finally as his same old neighbors. He even invents their favorite hobby, jellyfishing, which is like the ultimate cosmic prank. And that ending? It's almost like SpongeBob and Patrick are totally cool with leaving Freezer Squidward behind to keep their timeline intact. It's dark, but SpongeBob has a knack for sneaking in that sneaky twisted humor. Imagine them thinking, let's not mess with the freezer, things are fine as is, right? Brutal, but so on brand for the show's quirky edge. Now let's zoom back to that future scene of 4017. When Squidward thaws out, Spongetron greets him with a chipper "Welcome to the future," like he knew Squidward was coming, like it's all part of some grand plan. Does this mean time travel's just a normal thing in Bikini Bottom, like grabbing a Krabby Patty? Maybe the timeline has a memory, or ancestors passed down stories to their descendants through some underwater oral tradition. But here's a wilder spin, and stick with me here. Real-life sea sponges and starfish are regeneration rock stars. They can regrow lost parts, practically cloning themselves, and they thrive in the cold, harsh depths of the ocean, evolving over eons. So those robotic Spongetrons and two-headed Patricks in the future? They might not be machines at all. They could be evolved clones of the originals, carrying on the DNA of the Prime One, as Spongetron calls it. Creepy, right? Do they know they're clones, living in a world built on their own copies? If that's true, maybe Spongetron was expecting Squidward because this whole loop has played out before, like a rerun of a Krabby Patty order. Patrick showing up at just the right moment to join the jellyfishing party? Same deal. It's like the timeline's on autopilot, adjusting to Squidward's chaos like a well-oiled time machine. But the void's still the biggest puzzle of all. How'd he end up there after breaking the time machine? It's this empty, waterless expanse. No life, just those glitching, colorful shapes floating around like cosmic debris. Squidward's voice echoing, "Alone," feels like a cosmic slap in the face. His own words twisted into a haunting chant. Let's dive deeper into the void, because it's hands down the creepiest part of SB-129. When Squidward breaks the time machine, it doesn't just stall in prehistoric times. It glitches out, collapsing the scene around him like a bad computer crash. One minute he's dodging angry cavemen, the next he's in this bright, empty nowhere. No water, no life, just those weird flickering shapes and his own voice haunting him like a ghost. Some fans say it's a limbo, a place between realities where nothing makes sense. Others go way darker. Could Squidward have died? In many beliefs, limbo or voids are where souls end up after kicking the bucket. Maybe we're not watching Squidward lose his mind, but his consciousness unraveling, trapped outside the ocean's life-giving water. Okay, cartoon octopuses don't worry about real-world biology, but you get the idea. Octopuses need water, and this place is dry as a bone. The void's visuals scream something seriously wrong. The animation shifts to this stark, waterless style, a far cry from Bikini Bottom's vibrant underwater world. Those glitching shapes could be broken pieces of the timeline, echoes of SpongeBob, Patrick, or other Bikini Bottomites who once called the place home. The "alone" chant feels brutally personal, like the universe is rubbing Squidward's isolation in his face. It's not just nothingness, it's a mirror showing him what life without his annoying neighbors is really like. And it's absolute torture. Every echo, every glitch, every floating shape is a reminder that he's cutting off from everything that makes him, well, Squidward. It's enough to drive anyone to the edge, and it does. Here's the big twist, and it's a doozy. Maybe SB-129 isn't just a time travel romp after all. Sure, it's got all the wacky sci-fi vibes of Back to the Future, but it's also a sneaky journey of self-discovery wrapped in a cartoon bow. Squidward starts the episode desperate to ditch SpongeBob and Patrick, craving solitude like it's the ultimate prize. The void gives him exactly that, endless alone time, and he hates it. It's like the universe holds up a mirror, forcing him to see that without his chaotic, annoying pals, he's got nothing. His ego takes a massive hit. He realizes his identity is tied to them, whether he feels like it or not. That's when the time machine decides to work, zapping him home once he's learned his lesson. It's almost like the machine was waiting for him to get his head straight, like some cosmic therapist saying, "All right, you're ready to go back now." Think about it. Across time and space, there are endless versions of SpongeBob and Patrick, SpongeGar, Paytar, Spongetron, the whole gang. But there's also endless Squidwards, all grumpy, all clarinet obsessed, all stuck with their annoying neighbors no matter where or when they go. Maybe they're all part of each other, woven into the fabric of Bikini Bottom's weird, wacky timeline like a big underwater tapestry. Squidward's journey shows him that even the things he hates, SpongeBob's laugh, Patrick's dumb ideas, are part of what defines him. Without them, he's just a squid in a void, alone with his clarinet and a whole lot of regrets.